good since I've been going in that room, I can tell you that. So we're gonna keep that the way it is. We were able to actually move the ice buckets from the back into the room. We had enough room, so now that's a non-issue. Worked on our 2026 calendar, which has become very full. So we will start to publish that calendar in 3-month segments to try to expedite getting some more volunteers. If they can see the activities 3 months in advance, we figure they'll be able to hopefully volunteer more. We will not be having a coffee clutch September 1st because that is Labor Day, but we will be starting up our Live Oak socials that Tuesday, September 2nd. And our next meeting is August 26th. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Finance Committee, I don't think you have the report. The other thing is a separate item on the agenda, Dave.
No, okay.
Okay. The Finance Committee report was the meeting started at 12:55 p.m. and was adjourned at 1:25. No issues were found, both in check register and budget appears to be on track. That was their report.
Thank you.
Okay. Next report that I have is from the Library Committee. I don't see Debbie here. And it was no meeting this month. So big thank you to Jack and the maintenance crew for installing fans in the library. Good job. And they have a request for an approval of a board committee member. I will do that when we do the other committee member approval. All right. Next thing on the agenda is, are there any committees that didn't submit a written? Okay, Finding Committee. I didn't have the Finding Committee report. I'm sorry, Jen.
That's all right.
Bonnie's out of town. A little shorter than. Bonnie's out of town. She asked me to give the report. We had a hearing on August 13th for the violations that were approved at your July meeting. We received 8 violations. 3 had been corrected and 5 are enforced.
Thank you very much, Jen. Okay, next, any other committees? Seeing none, we'll go on and resignations. We had 4 people resign from the Art Committee. And we had, we know about Javon. And also Valerie has resigned as a Driftwood board member. So we're looking for some new people for the Art Committee. And if there's anyone else who wants to volunteer, and we are looking for someone for the Driftwood, both the committee members also resigned. So we're looking for Driftwood people for the committee, and we're looking for Driftwood people, a person for a board member. On the next item on the agenda is the audit. Jack? Okay.
Connie Binkley monitoring. With the Driftwood Committee not having a director, if no one does step up, how does that affect the lawsuit in any way?
It doesn't.
They don't have to comply with any of the stuff like.
Oh, no.
If no one steps up to fill that.
We are going to have someone doing the deed restrictions in Driftwood.
The attorneys already verified that if they don't have a viable committee or even a board member, that the association can go in.
Okay, that's all I was wondering. Thank you.
All right, Jeff, the audit.
Yeah, every year we were required, because of the amount of money, size of our budget, we're required to have an audit. This is the same company we used last year. The fee for the service is $4,450. Should the board wish to proceed.
Can I have a motion for the audit? Is there
Can you
anyone?
shop an audit?
Yeah, that was my question. Can we shop it on it?
Yeah, getting someone to beat the price is gonna be a question, but yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Okay,
Would you have time to get a couple of?
Not much time, but I'll have to get right on it.
yeah, if you would, and then we can do it by, if there is a different bid, we'll do it the way we've done the other by consent.
Yeah, and the problem being is this firm is familiar with our property and our books. A new firm would have to come in and go through all that information and drive up their cost a little bit.
Although I kind of think I want somebody to do that, rather than just keep accepting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
got
not
you.
so bad to have another set of eyes.
Okay, we'll do.
Well, my interest in asking you that, Jack, was not that this wasn't a good company, it's trying to be prudent spending the people's money. You know, if there's a way we can save some bucks on this, then that makes some things for other things that we can do too.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Seeing none? Okay. The next question on here, the next item says Finance Committee request. And I'd like to, before I call Dave up, I'd like to say that this was not, it's not actually a Finance Committee request, it's by some members of the Finance Committee. Because there was no vote taken at the Finance Committee to put this, you know, bring it to the board. Dave, did you want to come up?
State my name. I'll state
Yeah.
my name again, Dave Teller.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm on the head of the Finance Committee, and this was brought up as a question, and so I wrote this up. I think you guys got a copy of it.
Yes.
And it just tells you that, like, we've had problems in the past, like, I'll just use for an example, the electric or the tile out here around the pool. And before we pay out the money, we should have some kind of committee that might have the knowledge for that. And I know there's tons of people in Timber Oaks that do have knowledge in different things like electrical and plumbing and different things. So there should be a committee. The committee would end after that problem was taken care of. But it would be somebody that they can go out and look at and say, yep, it looks good, or no, they should have done this, or they should look into this. And it would make things, I think it would help save some money in the long run. And I agree with, other people were talking about it in our meeting. It just happened to come up, and that's why I brought it up.
Well, we have used other people that are homeowners and residents here that have those qualifications. Like when we asked questions about our electrical thing, we did use one of our residents for advice on that as well.
Then before we discuss it, let's do it the private way. Can I have a motion to consider an ad hoc committee for reviewing proposed projects of greater than 5,000? Is there a motion? I do not get a motion from the board, therefore it
Okay.
means it's,
Hey, Dave, could I say
Okay,
something?
go
though,
ahead.
Dave? The thing about it is I've looked at your thing and I really enjoy the way that you care so much about the community in so many different ways to make us aware of things, and I appreciate that. But on this particular item, it's my feeling that this is really what our responsibility is up here, and we're elected directly by you, and so we are directly responsible for this. I want to be able to look at those myself and make sure we're spending the people's money properly.
What?
So that's why I didn't second.
I understand that, but do you know a lot about plumbing and heating and tiles and different things that are being done around here? I'm just
Well,
saying, I know other HOA do these. They have committees, and what's the harm of having a committee that would be able to look into this? I know there's people that are retired from electrical, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and all kinds of tile work or whatever, they'll probably be more than happy to be on a committee and check it out, just extra eyes, like you said. Yeah, you guys are the ones that should be checking, but do you know everything about electrical, plumbing, heating, tile? I mean, that's why the tile around the pool's wrong. I mean, people are burning their feet out here because we bought the wrong tile, because the board approved it. I know it wasn't this board, but it was approved by another board. And so now they're having problems with that. I'm just saying, what's wrong with having a little committee to go out along with you guys and do things, just extra eyes, like you just said?
All right, right
Okay.
now, the motion
Okay,
didn't
thank
pass, it's no longer on
No
the
problem.
floor, so there's no more discussion on that. No, there's no more discussion on it. The motion, there is no motion on the floor.
Because
Yeah, it's not,
I can't
You
make
can
a comment
do-
about it.
you can do it at open forum. It is off the floor, we're moving on to new committee volunteers. I would like to make a motion to accept Brett Loudermilk for the library committee. Oh, wait, excuse me. Yeah, yeah, approval of a new committee member, Brett Loudermilk.
I'll second it.
Any comments by the board? Seeing none? Brett Loudermilk. Oh, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, one opposed, and, motion carries. Now I have,
Yeah, he said aye.
Oh, okay. okay,
Rick, did you vote against that or for it?
I don't even know what it was.
okay, never mind. Okay, we're going on. I'd like to make a motion, I have two people for the Architectural Review Committee, Christy Barkey and Melody Picos. Can I have, well, I made the motion, did I just say that?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and I'd just like to say if there are any others who would like to volunteer for the art committee or any of the other committees, let us know. There is always room for people we'd like some input. All right, next, the jetting of the drain. We approved this by action without a meeting, but that we all had to agree to this. And I'd like a motion that we approve the jet video services at 8712 Woodlawn, which we had approved before.
I'll make the motion to do that work for up to $2,250.
Right, and can I have a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now comes one that I asked to be put on the board. I have gotten a lot of people requesting, well, how do we, as a resident, do a, report something that we see as a deed violation? How do we go about reporting it? We used to have a card system, and I'm not calling them what they were because I hated that name. And I would like the board to discuss. I had sent, I think, everyone an idea where we would have a method for residents to report it, but they must give us their name and address. One, to make sure that they are a resident, and two, that they're not being, just because they don't like their neighbor, they're doing this report. The person that it would go to, that it would be for, that address would be given to the deed restriction person to check the next time she was in that village. If she felt that it was a violation, she will write it up as she would any other violation. And if the person does not give their name and, address, it automatically goes into the circular file.
And those names will be not given out.
Yeah, their names will not be given out. If you see something that you feel is a deed violation, you will report it, but you have to tell us who you are, who is the reporting person, and then we will put it into the system. And I'm also proposing that we do it by paper, have some sort of paper form or hard form, and also by email, that we set up a separate email address at the Timber Oaks, at the Timber Oaks Roadrunner site, which would be violations. So you would go to violations at whatever it is, tampabay.rr. whatever, and it would, and that way we would have a list and it would have to have the same information on it, so that somebody could report it by email as well as in person. I'd like someone to either make some sort of motion or let's discuss this.
Sue, with these people reporting violations would have to be within their own village,
No,
or they can go drive around and. start
if somebody
reporting
really
things.
wants to drive around and do that, yes, but sometimes you notice something that's really obvious when you're driving to someone else's house or to something else. You see, you see flags that are not flags. That's the kind of thing that you could report. Because just for anyone who's, curious, our flags are what the state says an HOA can do. We can have 2 flags on a flagpole. They can be either an official U.S. flag, a state of Florida flag, the MIA flag, or any of the armed forces or safety force flags. And there are official flags for all of those. And you can have up to 2 flags on a pole. I think the board is discussing first, so you're gonna have to wait a bit. Okay, board members? Comments? Any,
Well, I think you did everything in the little email that you sent us.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. It shouldn't be that complicated.
okay, can I have a motion to institute that? Okay, motion made,
I'll
second.
second it.
Okay, now I will take, if there are no more board comments, go ahead, Tanya.
Tanya Binkley, Monterey. You need to do it anonymously. A lot of people are not going to give their name. There's a reason the police have Crime Stoppers where you can anonymously give a tip. Nobody's going to want to put their name on a piece of paper with a complaint about their neighbor.
That's what we said.
So-
It will be kept anonymous.
Well, no one's going to want to write their name down. And not everybody's brave like me. You know what I'm saying? I can fight. Not everybody can fight. So everybody's kind of scared to make their neighbors mad. I don't care. So seriously, it's a great idea. The email, that's an amazing idea. I love that, all of it. Just don't force people to give their name. Just check it. Because I'm telling you, if somebody's coming here and complaining about it, they're not making it up. They're not lying about it. They definitely live in this neighborhood. Somebody's not going to come from Jasmine. So do it anonymously, please, because you're going to get the best results that way. I promise you, I swear, I'm not lying to you. Do it anonymously. Do not ask for their name.
Thank you. Karen?
Lucille and Kasserine Drive of Forest. Okay, did I turn it off or something?
No. Get a little bit closer, just a hair.
Okay,
Yes.
better, okay.
Yeah, got it.
I agree. It should be anonymous. You definitely don't want to start having problems neighbor to neighbor. And if it's reported and it happens to be alive, and she's not gonna fill out a thing and turn in a letter for the person. I doubt that's gonna happen, but I'm sure it will because things happen. But there's a reason even the county takes things anonymously. That's because they don't want problems. You're creating an issue. You're creating an unnecessary issue.
Thank you, Karen.
I gotta put my name on all my requests.
There you go.
In the, for the
Okay,
county.
But you don't get to live here.
Ed Waiter, Elgin Garage. I thought the whole purpose of having someone go around and do the violation was so that we wouldn't have neighbors complaining about neighbors. That was the whole idea when we did away with the other system, where we had neighborhood people in charge of each subdivision. I think we don't want to start a thing where people are turning people in on it. I think that's a bad thing for the neighborhood. I think it's bad for relationships. And I think that it's better. I mean, if you see something and come to the window and have Linda check it out, that's one thing, but I think to formally say, make a formal complaint is a bad thing.
thank you, Ed. Dave?
Dave Teller again. I know you didn't want to say the word green cards, but the green card worked when I first came here. Things looked really nice here, and I've noticed in the last 10 years, in the last 5 years, I think they did away with the green card. I've noticed a big difference since we don't have the green cards. I didn't see anything wrong with the green card. I thought it was a great thing. It was almost like a suggestion box. Why don't you just have some kind of a suggestion box, like put on there, like, I see something going on here. Can you please look into it? That's what we have you guys for. That's what you just told me a few minutes ago. So if we had a suggestion box out here in the lobby, people could write what they want, put it in there, and then you guys would look at it and say, hey, let's go check this out. So a couple of you go look at it and see. Like you said, we are paying that lady to go around, but there's 2,000 houses in here, or park condos and everything. That's a lot for that lady. That's why we have extra eyes, and I don't see nothing wrong with people doing that. I think it's a great idea to keep our community looking nice. Like I said, when I first moved here, I thought, wow, what a beautiful place this is. And I've noticed since we did away with the green cards, it has gone downhill. Just like there's other things I can mention, but I'm not going to right now on this. But I just think we should have some kind of suggestion box if you're going to do something like that, where people can put it in, you guys read it, you guys follow it up, and then go forward from there. Thank you.
Dave.
Thank you. Any more comments from board members? Dave, do you have something?
Yes, Ed, you had mentioned, I don't
Yeah.
I'm always interested in what you said because I know you guys had reasons for everything that you did. But to me, when I see something that has been slipped through the cracks, so to speak, let me just start with one of the biggest things I've heard from people since I've been in this position, and it's only been 4 months, and then I was a candidate for a month, was do something about these deed restrictions. Do something about the deed restrictions, please, over and over and over. And so all of this activity that we're looking at here is because I'm not the only one that has heard that. There's other members of this board too that people are saying we've got to do something. And so this is in response to what you guys are telling us. And so that's why we're today talking about instituting or trying to find some way to get that help helping us to make this a better neighborhood. That's all. Thank you.
And maybe we'll try it for 60 or 90 days. I'm not opposed to being anonymous.
I can tell you that being anonymous before, how many did, I know the office staff was at times inundated with anonymous complaints that were, a lot of times it was neighbor against neighbor kind of thing. this way, it winds up being, it was more, we found it more reliable when somebody actually reported it. And what we're doing this time, it's not us going out and looking at these, it's not the board. We are giving it to the proper person to call her attention to that particular address. Now, what we can do is we can try it, we can institute a system one way. If it's not giving us any results, we can switch and try it the other way. I would like to try it just with names, see what we get. You
Madam
know,
President,
yes,
yeah, Rick Angler.
yes,
I agree that we need a way to let the people file complaints. I said that in the past. Anonymous to me, this network, I had been there under the system, excuse my voice, I had been there under the system, and every once in a while you got, it looked like 10 written names, so almost in the same handwriting. You guys, so it was a way of harassment. I think we all should be responsible members here and responsible enough to carry in a mild violation. And, usually before you do that, if your neighbor's got a problem, don't talk to them. And 9 times out of 10, that neighbor's gonna correct it. But if they don't, it's affecting the whole community or side neighbor or something. You need a way to let the board know. But I think the only responsible way is to sign these, and I'll call green cards. David, we made one mistake, is that everybody was complaining about the covenants. It's not the word needed, but I don't think they're complaining, I think the way they meant to say that they're complaining about people violating the covenant, so, okay.
Right.
But never mind. Thank you.
all right. Dave,
I'm sorry, I wanted to follow up on what Mike had said before. Before I heard from you guys today, I was pretty much leaning towards having to sign the card, but after listening to Tanya and to, yeah, thank you so much. After listening to you guys, I'm thinking that we should probably try it and then take feedback from the ladies in the office who have to handle them. I would think when I was looking at these cards, I would be able to tell if somebody was turning in 12 or 15 or 20 of them in a row, all in the same hand, like Rick had said before. I mean, you can tell what's going on, so just pull those out. But there are a lot of good people who care about their community and are tired of waiting on letters and somebody to get around to clean some of these places up. And so I think there has to be a mechanism for us to be able to show that we care and let somebody look into our concerns.
Any other board comments? And I mean, okay, shall.
Ellen Baldwin, Springwood Drive, Luke's Club. I'm not sure about anybody else, and I do have pretty good hearing, and it was awfully hard to understand anything we heard from him. If you could kind of surmise what he said, it would be really helpful.
I believe he said, as a summary, that he believed that it should be signed and he thought it was a good idea to have a method. But he said everyone should sign. I believe he said that they should sign.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rick, is that what your understanding was, that you agree that people should sign the card?
I
Most.
I mean,
I'm sorry, to answer now, I should have had this on mute.
okay,
Correct.
that is
I just
correct.
say that I believe that every member here should be responsible enough to put your name on a card. And that also gives us somebody to call and contact. And say, we didn't see it, what was it about, like that. But, the anonymous, to me, just about work. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rick.
Let him know.
Okay, Jerry.
Gary Beers, 3326 Monterey. My only feeling is I have no problem signing anything. And I hope the office would tell the people I wrote it. Because if I wrote something up, I'm willing to stand behind what I wrote up. So I don't know why you would want to hide that you didn't want somebody to know unless you want to be a phony neighbor and a friend.
Okay, Jerry, by the way, I like your shirt, but in this case, I say be a Jerry. I personally say be a Jerry.
Please don't talk about my attire when we're in public. Thank you.
That kind of men's style.
Alice Fago, 14116. Maybe rather than the person signing their name, what about just putting the account number on there?
An account, something that we could recognize
Right.
that you are, that,
Because I might have a cousin that lives in Spring Hill that knows that I live here, could be driving down to visit me, see something that they don't like and just put my name on it. But they don't know my account number.
that would work. That would work. And one more.
Dale Baldwin, I know that there's issues, Dale Baldwin, Springwood Drive. I know there's issues that Linda cannot go in the back of these houses for any reason. We have a Hazel Ford that is trying to sell her house. There's a house next door that looked like it was a homeless encampment. I know Beverly has it up, she's a realtor. That if any board member could go inside the house and look at this backyard and make some suggestions there. I know they're supposed to be getting a letter,
Okay,
but they need to be able to see that, the back of that yard, because Hazel needs to sell it.
okay, that would be one of the positive outcomes of this. You as a neighbor of Hazel or whatever could go take from your yard, take a picture of that and send it in with it, because a picture speaks 1,000 words when it comes to things being overgrown or full of crap and stuff. Now, I believe that one has already been, yeah.
Guys, you'll want to know too, with this new sound system we're getting, it will also pick up audience discussions. So if you guys are out there talking while we're trying to talk, it will get picked up as well over us. And anybody trying to see the new video will pick up your conversations too. So we please ask that y'all hold down the conversation on the audience.
Okay, so anyway, the office had asked me to take pictures.
Right.
At that point, it was cleaned up some, but now the van is sitting back in the driveway, backed up to where you can't see, there's no tag on it. The backyard, he's put the vinyl fence back up like he's trying to hide stuff. I know the tarps that were hanging from the house and out in the trees, they were down, but I'm just wondering if it's going to just go back into a homeless encampment again. Because there was furniture back there. They lost 2 sales because of that yard. Thank you.
Okay, we know there are places that we have problems with. Yeah, we know it's there, we're working on it, but we're limited in what we can do, as I had to tell someone else. We have a finding process. That's it for us. And we can't do anything but that, and it takes, from start to finish, at least 90 days.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you keep on them to try to keep it cleaned down.
Yes.
And I would agree. Well, I don't know if everybody would appreciate it or not, but Hazel and her family would appreciate.
Okay, we understand and we know that one is definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the owner, supposedly the guy that moved in, basically at the same time Hazel moved to Vitality.
Mm-hmm.
Robert came in as a handyman. And now Joan says that she can't get rid of him. You can take that two ways. She can't get rid of him because he won't leave, or she's not wanting him to leave because he's ending. No, I don't. But
Okay, thank
hopefully you can keep pressure on him and not let him extend to the house that goes for sale.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Beverly Hudak, I just want to, I realize that the board only has so much authority. And, putting a fine out there is your means of being able to try to correct the situation. As we all know, fining doesn't always correct the situation because they don't pay it, and you wait till they sell the property, and then hopefully you get the lien money that's against the property. But in the interim, it does, put desecration against the rest of the properties up there. It's not just the Foy's property, but the properties on either side. So I have also seen, being in the community around, I have seen others that are similar, not maybe in looking like a junkyard, but in looking like they've never touched a piece of landscaping or anything on the property. So I think to the point of people going out and saying, hey, my neighbor's doing this, I get the issue with that. But I do think that to keep the values of all of our properties in the position we want them in, this is really an important topic.
That is why we thought we needed to reinstitute it.
Beverly, we spoke about this particular issue, and I did take the pictures to the office and asked that to be expedited. I talked with our president about your concerns as well as on this property. I looked at the pictures. To me, that was like a disgusting backyard. And it just is so frustrating to be in this position to want to do something and not be able to do it. But we're doing everything we can. I hope you do that.
Yes, yes. Well, you kept relinquishing.
Well, wait, people out there finish. Oh, you want to talk? Okay, I've served on this board. Whoop. Later. I've been on this board and several other boards, and I was here when we had the green cards. And I don't remember which board, but somebody put me in charge of working with the manager to see what we were doing with the green cards. And we would get like 40, 50 green cards a week. And I'd go into the office, and I know that one of the managers, we found she was shoving them in a drawer and not doing anything. Sometimes they'd be in the trash can. I'm hoping that if we institute something, that there's a way to follow up on what goes on with the people's concerns, that they just don't go by the wayside, and there becomes a problem of overwhelming a deed restriction lady with what goes on. If she gets an extra 20, she doesn't just drop what she's doing and go out and see those 20. I don't know exactly how it's going to be implemented, which one she goes to first, or does she go about and go into her regular neighborhood and then do what? Look at the complaints after? I'm not sure.
We'll develop it. We
will have to devise some kind
a
of
system, but
system.
it will be the deed restriction person who will do the checking on it. Or not, if there's something that is very, very bad, that we see is more of a problem than the normal problem, that always gets special attention. We've always done that. And that will still be the same. Because such as the special attention that's happening now over there, we know that it's a big problem. All right, we've got. Eileen, are you done?
Making a mess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking?
Talking with my hands.
Okay, you're done talking to, all right. We have a motion
Put my
on
hands
the
in my
table. right? We have a motion on the table. I'd be willing to change the motion to say name and or lot number. Name or account number.
Name, address, or account number,
Well,
or just
Good.
name or account?
name and address or
Or account.
account number. Because the account number will give us the name and address. And, I will work with the office, with Debbie and Jack, to devise a system, you know, and what the card will look like, you know, and the dispensing of it and all that.
I'd second that motion as amended.
All right, okay, are any other comments from the board? It's to use the cards, use a card and email, and it wouldn't be anonymous, but you could put your lot number, you know, your lot number or name and address. Okay? Or did you want to make one more comment?
One more. Jim Michael.
Pull it
Oaks
down,
Club.
Jim. Pull it down so we can hear it. Thank you.
Jim Michael Oaks Club. If you're gonna let people report, they should refer back to the HOA covenants, deed restrictions, and identify the actual deed restriction number.
Okay. Good,
Good point.
good
That's
point,
pushed
and
in.
we will, when we send out a notice of an email to people, we will put the deed restriction book is, which I have one right here. This would give you a good clue, as well as the other documents, of what is and isn't a deed restriction. You can find them on Timber Oaks 2020 or on the RPM site, which everyone should really start using, which will be in the October President's Message about what you can do on Vantica. Because I know a lot of us, more and more people are computer savvy, and every one of you has the ability to get onto the RPM Vantica site, which will give you all our documents, will also give you a whole lot of other, you can see the actual financial reports that are available to members. There is actually a place to put your name that you can have a members list of those who are willing to have their name and or phone number on a list. But you'll get more information, look in the October newsletter, and any of the women in the office can tell you how to get your password if you've never set it up. It's amazing what information is on that site. All right, now I've done my commercial, and we have a motion on the floor. And it's seconded, and we're done with comments. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? None, motion carries. Okay, next item. This is a discussion of the parking lot. And this was because of, well, part of it was a letter we got from Ann Osinga about the problem the emergency vehicle had with the, getting in through the top part of that parking lot. Don't ask me east or west, but it's that one. Jack, did you want to describe what the first part of any changes would be?
Use the mic.
Okay, what I found the problem to be was you come into the top parking lot out here and you make that left curve down through the cut-through lane to the second parking lot. It's very narrow there at the turn. You can see on the curve all the tire marks going over it. That's evidently where the ambulance had the hard time. So I suggested and I called a company, that has done a lot of our sidewalk and demolition work for us. They were cheapest all the way around. They came in, I asked them about removing that entire curve and removing the stone down to dirt. That was $1,250. The paving company would still have to come back in, put some base down, pave it over with asphalt, and then paint it some striping that indicating that it's not a parking area, but it gives emergency vehicles, larger vehicles, the access to turn that corner. I'm still waiting on Pave Master, the company that paved our parking lot, because I want to see how much they would want to charge to finish up behind this company or include what this company's doing and see what they charge from start to finish. So that's what I'm looking at. Sue and I went out there, looked at some other items. David mentioned putting some bollards out there on this lower section to stop anybody from rolling through where we had the incident with the crowd out there. That's something we can do in-house. We can get those up there. Sue mentioned paving a couple of areas that aren't paved now to add parking space. But all in all, this is just the beginning of it, is that top curve, getting it out of the way. If somebody wants to put together a plan of action, how much they want to alter the entire parking lot, let me know. I can get bids on that kind of work. But in the meantime, I'm shooting at the small stuff here.
Well, I know that the rest of us here went out after we went out and we were looking at the lot. And we definitely want to remove that oval and stripe it, the one up on the top.
Right.
And also the bollards to begin with. And then we were discussing, as I had discussed with you, on the lower part, reclaiming at least one parking spot and moving the yellow stopper for the car, moving them closer to the end. The car stops closer where it's not car facing car, where there's median in between, moving the car stops all the way up to the front, to the back of the asphalt, so that a car can pull further into the parking spot. That will give us more room there. But we definitely want to start with the oval, so we need that, and we do want to do the bollards.
Regardless, when we get this plan up, I would hope that we run it by the engineer, because that was all designed considering how the water flows. And I would not want to disrupt that and start causing water problems out there.
Well, Eileen, what with the one that I'm taking out as a backup is the curb on this side by the wood shop. So any water coming down that parking lot is going to hit that curb, run down, and then through the swale to the drain to the lake.
Right, but when we were out there, we were discussing some other things, and I'm just saying, if we submit another plan to do more work out there, that perhaps we should be run that by the engineer.
Yeah, as long as I'm not suspect of it causing any damage due to drainage, I don't see any reason to call the engineer.
Well, we're
It's
talking,
because
you don't know what we're talking about, moving some stuff out there where the water does build up in that one area. That would be all free to flow right down towards the pool area. And when it rains, it pours out there.
Well,
We don't want to,
we'll get to that.
we wouldn't want to
after
cause
the-
any more drainage problems out there. That's my concern.
Yeah, I understand.
But we can talk about that.
Yeah, I would entertain a motion to, one, install the bollards. That's the easiest. Do I have a motion to install the bollards?
I'll make a motion to install the bollards.
I will,
I'll second it.
thank you. Any comments on the bollards from Dave?
Yes, I'd like to explain to people why I brought this up and wanted to have them installed. what happened on, Veterans Day, or was it Memorial Day? Memorial Day, sorry. What happened on Memorial Day was really sad, and for God's sakes, it hadn't happened in 51 years. However, if it could happen once, it could happen again. And I think it's our responsibility that if we could do something that wouldn't obstruct the beautiful view, but it could give everybody, some of which are sitting in the audience today, who were run over by the car, assurance that if they come back for Music on the Lake in November, that we have something in there to stop that from happening again. And I know it's a small expense, maybe it'll be more than I think it is, but what's more important than making sure that everybody that comes to that event feels safe and can relax and enjoy themselves. So that's why I asked to have them put up, and I really appreciate everybody's support.
Questions on the bollards?
No, I'm not talking about that.
Oh, okay, mark down. Wait until we make a motion on that.
Okay.
The people behind you, is anyone just about the bollards? Okay.
Rick,
Yep, go ahead, Rick.
Lars, is there a motion on the floor yet?
Yes, for the bollards.
For dollars, okay, but we have no dollar figure with that.
No, but, when I was talking with Jack, he felt that we could do it in-house. That we could do it in-house. We're putting, it would be a concrete base with a pole in it and then covered in yellow, into that, so a car hitting it would ruin the car's front end, not.
Hurt
But
somebody.
you gotta make sure it's solid enough, and that means you gotta put a concrete base in.
Yes, we said concrete base,
You have to have the hole and put
right,
the pipe and the concrete in, so it's got concrete base on the wall.
right.
And it is, correct. And, you might also, try to get somebody to give you an estimate that we've done that reasonable, so we don't have a liability in case it does not hold back the car.
It will be solid, it will not let a car. Okay,
Rick, Jack, when I talked with Jack about this originally, he had suggested we take like, a 4-inch steel pipe, fill it with concrete and then put it in the ground in concrete and then paint them yellow. I think that would be, a stop for almost anything, especially a golf cart, which is what we really had the trouble with to start.
okay, all right. Seeing no more questions on the bollards. And it's been first and seconded. May I have, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now, can I have a motion for the manager to pursue having the oval removed completely? They're not about the bollards, they want to talk about the other.
I have a question on that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you want a motion?
I want a motion so that we.
I'll make a
can
motion
discuss.
that we, accept the quote that, Jack got for us on the removal of the oval. Is
Well,
that what you're?
no, I wanted that he keeps exploring to find the best way to have it removed and paved. So you might get a quote from the paving company to also remove as well as pave. So I don't want to accept, am I right, Jack? that
Yeah.
he
Yeah, I
wants-
wanna see if the paving company can do it all, and what do they charge against
What,
what we could do.
So I want to make a motion then to charge Jack with getting us more information on this issue as quickly as possible.
and to be able to do this as quickly as possible.
Does that meet everybody's requirement? Second?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you don't need a motion, just request
Well,
more
okay.
information. Yeah.
Okay. And then when he has the best price, he'll come back and we might
Yes.
be doing it by, yeah. Okay. Dave, question.
Yeah, Dave Teller again. I got a question. when we put this new blacktop driveway in on both sides, did we not have an engineer approval before we decided to put these cement things out there in the first place? Because I really thought when we put them in, they were kind of narrow. I mean, I drive a truck. I won't even go through them without hitting them. So I think either the engineer messed up or somebody here messed up, because they should have had, wait a minute, let's look at this. Is this gonna work out right or not? Because now we're gonna pay money, have that taken out, have blacktop put in, and this should have been done in the beginning if we had all the eyes of the board along with the manager and would have went along with.
We did.
With.
We had meetings with the.
Then why are we discussing this and why are we spending money again? Why are we spending more money over bad money? over and over and over?
Dave, calm down, please.
Talk to the previous board that approved it.
Well, you were here, you were the manager, and you
I'm
were.
not an engineer.
But we had an engineer, so why would
Okay,
the
Dave.
engineer?
Dave, enough.
I'm just saying.
It's the problem,
It's terrible.
it's a job we had done and we're having problems with it. Because we're having problems with it, we have to revise it. I'm not casting dispersions on anyone, but it's not working right. So if it's
I
not
understand
working
that.
right, we need to fix it.
I understand that,
And
but it should have been done in the first place. If we had the engineer was doing his job and the manager was doing his job and the people were looking at it, we wouldn't be spending the money today to fix it. That's all I want to say.
okay, thank you.
And I'll say 14116, and I'm sorry I upset the apple cart here, but I appreciate that you're paying attention to this, and that you put it on the agenda. I just want to explain, it's kind of the situation, Dave, where, you fall in love, you get married, you expect you're gonna be married the rest of your life, and then, you end up in divorce. We had a contract, we went with it, and it didn't meet our expectations. So, different analogy, but still. It works. But I just wanted to, Eileen made the comment about the curbing, solving a flooding issue or something. You don't use curbing to do that. That is definitely a grading issue. So before any paving or anything is done, I think we need to see, if the grading is correct on the top of that
All the
parking lot.
grading, the problem is, you have two parking lots up there, all slanted this way.
Right.
All that water comes this way.
Right.
The only curve that has to be there is the one on the wood shop side of where the old road used to go down through there. That curve directs the water down through the swale, down to the lake.
And we couldn't build up some dirt or sod or anything there that would help. I mean, I just
It flows
think.
now, and
Okay.
even with that curve on,
It will still
down.
flow, okay. Also, I want to mention, I appreciate that you put in all those spaces for the golf cart, kind of in the middle of the parking lot. But is there a way we can move the cement forward more? So on events where people don't use their golf carts in the evenings for dances and other activities that go here, so we could park a couple cars there? Because it has taken away parking spaces.
Understandable. Unfortunately, a lot of that grass area was moved back away from the trees due to the roots that were tearing up the asphalt.
Okay, well.
But Ann, there are a couple, but what you're saying is very accurate, because we were out there earlier and we saw spaces that were marked for golf carts only that are big enough for a full-size car to fit in.
Yeah, that's the wrong
So that's gonna be
location on the
removed, so we're.
That's three
We're
more
on.
car spots.
Thank you.
People wouldn't.
That helps. That helps. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your comment.
Good afternoon, board. My name is Victor Molken. I live on Windingwood Road in Heart of Oaks Club. I need a point of clarification from the board to help me understand that when we do have outdoor events, I was told that there would be no parking on that side of the activities building, that we were to be directed to the tennis court side park. when we got here, since, Margie and I are witnesses to the accident because it happened right next to us. Should there be some kind of guidelines from the board that would direct our attention to safety? That if there's no parking, why couldn't someone from the wood shop make the old-fashioned horses to block the entrances to come in?
Well, what we are doing, let me just answer you this way. What we're doing by putting up the bollards would stop what happened on Memorial Day. It would stop what happened. We do close at times this if everything's happening on this side of the parking lot. But for other events, we wouldn't be parking any other events. We do say all parking on the other side. For this, it was a limited amount of people that were going to be sitting. We had it marked off. A wooden horse, from what I understand from what happened, would not have stopped that golf cart.
He's talking about at the entrances.
The entrance is to stop, but we weren't stopping parking at that one.
My suggestion is to block the parking lot off at the street, so not a cart or a car would be allowed in. No parking meant no parking. I don't know how it got violated that day, but we were all directed by the event coordinator to park on that side. But when we got here, there was already cars parked. So, I mean, the direction that you gave us was not enforced. If you would have had no parking, that accident would not have happened because it would not have allowed a cart or a car into the parking lot. It would be blocked off at the street.
But it was a golf cart that actually did it, not an automobile. And we
It doesn't
encourage the
matter,
golf carts
Dave,
to
does
come
it?
onto that side, Victor.
Hey, does it matter? No parking means no parking.
Well, I can see that, but we don't have room for everybody. As someone that's held 2 outdoor events, 2 years, I can tell you that we do our best, but even at the event where we wouldn't allow parking in here, we eventually had to because they were parking up and down the streets. The police were trying to get here. We had to clear the street, so we had to let them up there. I think that the Ballard situation, if you go up after the meeting, I'll be more than happy to come out of the meeting and meet you out there and show you exactly what we're talking about. And I think that that will meet your requirements for safety.
No,
And if it doesn't, we'll learn something different.
How do you explain to me that when I was directed not to park, there was no parking on that side where the outdoor event was, to have the safety for everyone attending? Who dropped the ball?
Okay, we're not talking about the last event. That event was Memorial Day. Unfortunately, I was not here for it. However, what was done was done. We're doing our job now to prevent it. If we have something where we're closing the parking lot, we will close the parking lot.
And the parking lot was not closed that day.
And the
I'm
parking
sorry.
lot was not closed that day. So we can,
Okay, then who dropped the ball?
I don't know. And it's,
I mean, you're about to spend money foolishly because no one is taking.
Foolishly?
Yeah, it would be foolish to put anything else in there if we would have had a directive of no parking. No parking.
But we have people
That's not
that
the issue
drive
here.
their golf carts, that sit out there in their
Okay.
golf carts
all right.
and watch it rather than bringing a lounge chair, sitting on the grass and in the parking lot. They sit in their golf carts. Are you going to stop all those people that
Okay.
want to be able to do that?
Donna,
That's not the point.
okay, this is not a
No
discussion for
parking
this
is
time.
no parking.
Oh, sir,
But we're
this is
talking
not-
about the bollard, right?
Okay. No, I mean,
You know what?
No.
I think you have a valid contribution there. And thank you for your suggestion. I think it's a good suggestion. And I think it's something for us to think about.
Okay, thank you. Karen, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Karen Fritsch from Divot Way. There's two things. Number one, we were talking about the engineer. And I think this is piggybacking a little bit on what Dave was saying is that, but taking it a step further is, did we actually build that in the way that the engineer told us to build that, or to?
Yeah, they had to come out and correct it a couple of times, actually, because it wasn't built as the engineer had designed.
Okay, so
There
when
was
did
a
he,
complete set of blueprints that the engineer came up with, that the paving company was to follow. Put the
Okay.
parking lot in.
so wouldn't he have some liability on this, that, okay, he told us to do it that way, but what, it doesn't work?
What I assume what happened is, I'm looking at Ed, the engineer came up with the plans, the board approved those plans. So the board approved the plan the way it was built. And actually, the company did not build it the way the engineer, the grading was off or whatever. So we actually had the paving company and the engineer came back and they had to fix it so that it did match what the engineer said. The parking lot works in that the cars can park and we're not having that much, flooding problems right now. However, it's not working for the people as well as it should have been.
It's not
So
working for
then-
the ambulance.
It's not working. for
Well,
the
that's what I mean.
So-
I would think the engineer would have to take that into consideration.
You know what, this is not, what we're doing is we're trying to, as Ann had used the comparison to a divorce, we're trying to divorce part of what we have, we're trying to.
I understand you're fixing it now.
Yeah.
But then to me, there's a thought to go back about who's liable for it. Because it's brand new. It's brand new. That's all I'm saying is that there should be a thought that way. The second thing is, I think, it was brought up in the past when the parking lot was getting done about, by boulders, you mean like those things that stick up, right?
Right,
Okay.
around,
Yeah, I never
And
knew they
only
were
if
called
it-
that.
only
But-
waist high or so.
Okay, so the other thing about putting those in is that then people are not tripping over those curves either. And I think there was a suggestion that maybe instead of the bumpers or whatever they are called, would be replaced by bowlers in all the parking spots. And so that's something that maybe to think about again. Number one, you're right, that would have really helped with that accident. But maybe in general, why, instead of the bumpers, putting the bowlers. That's all. That was just a suggestion.
But we want both of them in there because
They're not
actually the
little
car is
close.
gonna stop at the car stop. It's just in
Yes,
case what happened, on Memorial Day goes over that curb again, and the lady couldn't get her foot off of it and then went through over another one. If that bollard was steel, was filled with
I'm saying,
cemented in the
yes.
ground, it wouldn't have went there.
I'm saying that. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, thank you.
But also, but another benefit is that people walking are not tripping over those. Also, I had one pull out the bottom end of my car.
I got stuck once on it. Yeah, but that's a hazard of those and they're there for a reason and it's a lot
It's just
easier.
another suggestion that maybe to
Okay.
replace with
All right.
boulders all around.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, Ed.
Okay, Ed Wainer, I guess I can take some responsibility here as former president, but we hired an engineer to do the job. We went with what he recommended because the rules changed. That's why we added the golf carts because originally they said we would have to take all those spots out and not have nothing there. So that's why we added golf cart spots because they're not as deep. Because of the roots that were tearing up the asphalt. And so the idea of the ambulance thing over on this side, that's the first time we've ever had an ambulance come over. They always come to the front. So I don't know why an ambulance came over. But they always come to the front through the circle and
Yeah, that's true.
in through there. So that's something that wasn't predicted. So I mean, if.
Yeah.
Ed, while you're there, is it okay if I add something? Ed, I don't want boards after this one to be, all of us that do this work, Ed included and LeMay included, and the other board members that are sitting out in the audience that have served this community before, have tried their very best to do the right thing. But no matter what project is or where it is, there's always unintended consequences. So instead of us finding fault with people, let's fix it. I think that's what this board is trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
But I appreciate the comment.
If I may use my last 30 seconds from my first up here. I have to make a comment with Dave's suggestion that we have professionals in here. I know that parking lot, my husband was vice president of engineering for many years, and he built buildings in parking lots. He never would have approved that.
Well, we're trying to fix it, that's for sure.
All right. Now, we're moving on. We're finished with the parking lot. Kitchen manager, you've been sitting patiently in your turn.
Work's already done.
Good afternoon. Patrick Blizniak, Monterey. Basically, I'm going to reiterate what we discussed at the last meeting, so we get it on record.
Yeah.
Talk closer.
Okay. Get that part? All right. So it was brought to my attention that there were issues brought to light from the Live Oaks Board concerning security and cleanliness. Our mutual proposal was to rekey the cabinet doors alike. There's one set of keys available in a lockbox. That the combination, under the discretion of the kitchen manager, will be provided to the personnel responsible for all upcoming events. The changing of the lockbox would be the sole discretion of the kitchen manager, whoever that might be. Naturally, the office will have additional keys. The underlying reason for this decision is not to threat of theft, but rather the goal of providing sanitary cookware and flatware. Is there scores of sets of keys floating throughout our community. And this allows us to reset control of the kitchen. I want to thank Jack and his crew for installing the locks. The lockbox, my understanding, will be done this week. Everyone is on board. Any questions?
No, but I would entertain a motion that we set this as a procedure that the kitchen manager is the sole, as it's stated in his report, the kitchen manager is the sole person who would change the locks, talk about changing the locks and he's the keeper of the keys, and if anyone is brought up in the Cleveland area, the keeper of the keys, and that the keys will not be floating around. You need the combination to get into the lockbox, but the kitchen manager would be in charge of all of it. That's the gist of the motion.
So moved.
And second?
Second.
Yes, now it's discussion for the board.
Okay.
Yes, you may.
Well, thank you so much for recognizing me. I wanted to let everybody know that We didn't work this out. This was worked out between Live Oaks and the kitchen manager. I wanted this to be brought up at a meeting and a vote for the board because I think it's important that we assure our members and the people that are part of our community that when they go in there, when they come to eat something, that it's going to be as sanitary condition as possible. I don't think theft was a real big problem. I think actually the big problem is not having clean stuff. Now we cleaned the kitchen, the deep cleaning, Live Oaks board came in and did it. Patrick is going to be the guy that's in charge of the lockbox, in charge of the combination on the lockbox. And he will share that responsibility, the way I understand it, with the Live Oaks president and board members. And then at present, we have 4 food handlers that are authorized to be in there. So is that,
Yes, I
do I have
plan on
it
meeting
correct
with-
for everybody?
I plan on meeting with all of them, obviously doing accommodation as well as the women's club. There's some factions that we forget about, but yes, I'll be meeting with all of them.
Okay, great. Thank you, Patrick, for all your work. Appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
sir.
Patrick. Okay. We have, any other board discussion? Seeing no discussion from the audience. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is fines and suspension. But before the board begins assigning fines, I thought it would be worthwhile to describe the process. Our deed restrictions are specified in our documents. Weekly, the person in charge of looking for properties that don't meet our guidelines, and this is an RPM employee, goes to a specific area. They do not go to every village every week. When a violation is discovered, a letter, including pictures, is both emailed and mailed to the owner. The friendly letter tells the owner they have 30 days to correct and form a reply to the office. The form includes a place for them to ask for an extension, as well as saying why they disagree, if they do disagree. After 30 days, the inspection person goes back to see if the violation has been corrected. If it has, the process stops there. If it hasn't been corrected, then at a board meeting, the board will set a fine amount for the owner. This is just setting the fine amount. The owner gets another letter setting a date for a hearing. And that hearing is before the fining committee. This committee is made up of residents who are not board members or relatives of board members. This committee either upholds the fine or denies it. They cannot alter anything about the fine. If the committee does not uphold the fine, in other words, they say no to the fine, it ends there. To institute the fine, the board would have to restart the whole process from the beginning. If the fine is upheld, the owner gets another letter saying that the committee upheld the fine and that they have 30 days to either fix the problem or the fine will be assessed. If they fix the problem and inform the office with proof, they will not be fined. They will have not owed a penny. They will be in the clear. As you can see, this process is long and involved. It is the process that is mandated by Florida law. We don't have a choice in how we do this. If owners would contact the office at the beginning of the beginning stages, most of this could be avoided. If the owner disagrees, explain why. Right at the beginning. Let's get it settled first. There is a reason why you can't do it for a while. Explain. We grant exceptions, extensions all the time. Most of the ones that you will hear today that we read off and fine and all those before have not contacted the office once, have not gone to the hearing. So they are not communicating with us. We have no choice, but at that point, to assign a fine amount to let it go, they're just not there. Communication is the key to a great relationship. Okay, if anyone has any questions about the fining process, you can either ask at open forum or ask us later. We're going to start right now with the fines. Donna, would you please begin?
Sure. I move to fine the owners of 8824 Wabash Lane, $50 a day for personal property storage. It's in violation of the covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
All right. I move to fine the owners of 10610 Green Meadow Lane, $50 a day for maintenance of the home roof. It is in violation of TSCA covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
I move to fine the owners of 8718 Benton Drive, $50 a day for maintenance of home roof. It is in violation of TSCA covenants of $5,000.
Second.
Any comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried.
I move to fine the owners of 8635 Winding Wood Drive, $50 a day for maintenance of home roof. It is in violation of TSCA covenants of $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to fine the owner of 8430 Winding Wood Drive, $50 a day for maintenance of the home on the roof. It is in violation of TSCA covenants of $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried.
This one, unfortunately, I have a problem with.
What's your address?
The address is 10727 Hachita Drive. This lady has had the county come out several times. She has had the fining committee come out several times. Her house is so cluttered, you can't even see the front door. I think instead of charging the $50 a day for the violation, I feel like maybe we should increase it to $100 a day, since she is not, she's not doing anything to move this out of the way. So I make a motion that we raise hers to $100. I'm sorry, are y'all unable to hear me? Sorry.
Okay. Say the address.
So I make the motion to charge 10727 Hachita Drive, $100 a day instead of the $50 a day for personal property storage that's in violation of
Donna, that amount is set by state law. You
No.
can't change that.
No, we can go up to $100 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think we.
Yes, we can.
Did they increase it? Because it was a,
No,
50 was a limit before.
We picked 50. We can do even more if we want to. And the state law is to $1,000 unless otherwise stated in our document. That's why we put the 1,000. That's why when we last did the documents, we raised it to 5,000. But it's okay.
So the last board, there was a guy that constantly had boats in his yard, and the last board changed that. He was not being $50 a day. They hit him with something. It was a different number than $50 a day. So the last board did that to the boat guy.
Okay.
The boat guy. The guy with boats in his yard.
The last
The last board did it to the boat guy. The last board did it to the boat guy.
Okay, Tanya. All right, we have a motion on the floor, and was it seconded?
Was.
Eileen, you have a comment?
Yeah, I believe that in one of the exports we had voted on, instead of using a schedule, that we were just going to use $50 per all violations.
We said that with the caveat that we could change it if we needed to. There's no, we don't have a schedule. We do not have a schedule and we
Well,
change.
I believe in lieu of the schedule, we had determined that we use a $50
That,
a day.
no, we are allowed to, yeah. Dave,
This is repeated over and over and over and over and over violations. What do we do? I mean, I live in Monterey. I go by this house every day. It's a mess.
okay. Okay. Eileen, we are allowed to do this. And
Yeah, I was thinking 14116, Sue is correct. We did change this when we did the documents. And also, if this is a repeat offender, go through the process. My suggestion would be go through the process of the letters. If it's not corrected, put the lien on that.
well, that's the other.
I mean, that's all we can do by state law only allows us that.
Yeah.
But as of right now, is there a lien right now?
There is no.
Okay, then I suggest that a lien goes on if it's not corrected this time.
That's where this.
Okay. Does, never does. We can.
Can y'all foreclose on that house?
Not-
Eventually
not-
because of all the
not
timing and
this-
stuff?
No,
Jack,
You can't foreclose on that?
no.
Okay.
Jack,
Okay,
can they do an initial?
all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
I could.
Okay. All right,
Thank you,
next,
board. All right, I make the motion to move the fine the owner of 8134
Wait,
Walrus
wait a
Drive.
second, please, Donnie. Can we have quiet out there, please? Because now I can hear you guys up.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Donnie.
I move to find the owner of 8134 Walrus Drive $50 a day for maintenance of what? It's a violation of cost of covenants of $5,000.
Second.
all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
I move to find the owners of 8014 San Bernardino Drive $50 a day for maintenance of what? It's a violation of cost of covenants of $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Seeing none, motion carried.
I move to find the owners of 8021 Las Cruces Court $50 a day for maintenance of what? It's a violation of cost of covenants of $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
I move to find the owners of 8424 Winding Wood Drive $50 a day for personal property storage that's a violation of cost of covenants of $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Yes, it's the same one, but it's a completely different.
All right, I move to find the owner of 8424 Winding Wood Drive, $50 a day in violation for mildew on the roof.
Second.
All those in favor,
Aye.
all those opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
Okay, I move to find the owner of 8424 Winding Wind Drive, $50 a day for an operable vehicle that's in violation of cost of covenants at $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
I'm having to run the board meeting next month, so I'm trying to write down Susan Hale's office, so I know what to say. Okay. I make the motion to to find the owners of 8015 Las Cruces Court, $50 a day for maintenance of lot that's in violation of cost of covenants at $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
I move to find the owners of 8125 Merrimack Drive $50 a day for maintenance of what? Due to mildew, that's in violation of plastic covenants.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay. That's it for fines and suspensions. Next is correspondence. And, we have one from Ann on the emergency, but I think we handled that for you. Thank you. And we have one from Deborah Newman, and this was about, the swing of the doors in the restroom for handicap access, and we've already taken care of that. Okay,
Those bathrooms are not totally handicapped. I remember when we designed them, tried to make them as accessible as possible for the space. The door was made wider. It really wasn't designed for wheelchairs. It was designed for your walker to be able to get in and out, but not really for a wheelchair because they require a 4-foot turnaround for a handicap space. So there was no way to do it to make it for a wheelchair in the ladies' room or the men's room for that fact. The best we could do was to have it accessible for a walker. Just to let people know. And this being a private place, we really don't have that handicap, but because of our population, we wanted to do as best we could for our people.
all right. Thank you, Eileen. Okay, at this point, I would ask for, oh, sure.
Okay, before we go, early in the meeting, we talked about people who had resigned from committees and who have served this association really well for a number of years. And I just want to say their names out and thank them. That is Lynette Grabowski, Russell Rogers, Ed Hebert, and Lanny Lipsky, all served on that committee when I was on there 6-7 years ago. And are still doing it now. They finally given it up to somebody else. So I'd like everybody to give them a round of applause and thank them seriously for all their service to this community.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, we're open for open forum.
Ann Osika, 14116. This is no disrespect to